The human voice, it's kind of the instrument we all play, right? I mean, think about it. It can start a war, or it can say, I love you. So the big question is, how do we use this incredible tool so that when we speak, people actually listen? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do here. We are going to break down a super actionable framework for speaking powerfully and effectively. Okay, let's dive right in.
I mean, you've been there, haven't you? You're in a meeting, maybe you're just talking to a friend, or you're up there giving a presentation, and you just get that sinking feeling that your words are just floating off into space. Nobody's catching them. It is so frustrating. And honestly, it happens to all of us. But why? Why does it happen?
Well, it turns out there are some really specific habits, things we do when we talk, that pretty much guarantee people will tune out. A sound expert named Julian Treasure, he calls them the deadly sins of speaking. And the crazy part is, they can completely undermine our message before we even get to the important part.
And when you look at this list, what's wild is just how common they are. I mean, think about it. Gossip? Nobody trusts the gossip. Judging? Puts people on the defensive instantly. Negativity and complaining? It's just exhausting to listen to, right? Then you've got excuses, which is just passing the buck, lying, or even just exaggerating a little. It just chips away at your credibility. And the last one? Dogmatism. That's basically when someone states their opinions as if they're absolute facts. It just shuts down the whole conversation. So yeah, if you're doing any of these, it's a huge red flag that people are probably zoning out.
Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we get better? Here's our roadmap. We're going to walk through this really powerful 3-pillar framework. First up, pillar 1, sharpening your message. Then pillar 2, mastering your voice. And pillar 3, commanding your presence. And don't worry, at the end, I'll give you a super simple first step to put it all into action. All right, let's jump into pillar 1, sharpening your message. Because honestly, it all starts with what you say. You can have the best voice in the world, but if your message is weak, it's just not going to land. This is all about building that foundation of trust and clarity. So if those sins are what we need to avoid, these 4 things are what we need to do. They form this great acronym, HAIL. So H is for honesty, just being straight, being clear. A is for authenticity, just be yourself. Seriously, we can all spot a fake. I is for integrity, meaning you do what you say you'll do, you're trustworthy. And L is for love. Now, this doesn't have to be weird, it just means wishing people well. You're not there to judge them, you're communicating with good intentions. Okay, so building your message on that HAIL foundation, absolutely crucial. But let's be real. How do you make that message actually stick in someone's brain? How do you make it memorable? Well, for that, we can steal a few tricks from some of the best speakers who ever lived. And one of the simplest, most powerful tools is something called anaphora. Now, I know it sounds like a complicated academic term, but it's not, I promise. It's just repeating a word or a phrase at the start of your sentences, one after the other. It creates this amazing rhythm and really hammers the point home. And guys like Steve Jobs, they were absolute masters at this. Check out this classic example from the 2007 iPhone launch. Just listen to what Steve Jobs does here. He says, we've got the iPod. We've got the iPod Nanos. We've got the amazing new iPod Shuffle. See that? We've got the. It's so simple, it's got a great rhythm, and it makes the message stick. That is the power of thinking about what you're saying. Okay, on to pillar 2, mastering your voice. This is huge because it's not just about what you say, it's all about how you say it. You could have the most brilliant message ever, but if your delivery is totally flat, no one's going to hear it. Your voice is literally a toolbox for keeping people engaged. Just think about the difference between a totally monotone speaker and someone with real vocal variety. Monotone just screams, I'm bored, and this isn't important. It's flat, it's uninspired. But when you start playing with your voice, suddenly you're creating emotion, you're adding emphasis, you sound confident. It's the difference between hearing a robot read a manual and hearing a friend tell you an amazing story. So what are the tools in this toolbox? Well, it really boils down to 4 main things. First is pitch. That's the high and low notes in your voice. You don't have to be a singer, just use it to show emotion. Then there's pace, how fast you talk. You can speed up when you're excited, or you can slow down to make a point. Next is volume. You can get loud for big moments, but sometimes speaking quietly is even more powerful. And finally, tone. That's the overall quality. You want to aim for a voice that's warm and rich, that pulls people in. All right, we have to talk about the elephant in the room,
The dreaded ums and ahs. You know, those little filler words that just sneak in there and make us sound like we have no idea what we're talking about. Look, we all do it. The good news is you can totally get it under control.
Here are 3 dead simple steps to start kicking that habit. Number 1, practice pausing. Just get comfortable with silence. A short pause sounds way more confident than an. Number 2, just slow down. A lot of the time, we use fillers because our mouth is moving faster than our brain. Give your brain a second to catch up. And number 3, record yourself. I know, nobody likes the sound of their own voice, but you can't fix a problem until you know when and why you're doing it. Awareness is everything.
Okay, time for our final pillar, and this one's a biggie. Commanding your presence. Because communication isn't just about the sounds you make. A huge part of your message is sent before you even open your mouth. Your body's talking too.
So let's break it down with some simple do's and don'ts. Okay, do stand with a solid, balanced stance. Don't fidget or shift your weight around. Do use open hand gestures, like with your palms facing up. It's a sign of honesty. Don't cross your arms. It just makes you look defensive. And a huge one, do make eye contact around the room. Don't stare at the floor or turn your back. These seem like small things, but trust me, they make a world of difference.
So let's just recap those keys to a really confident presence. First, make real eye contact. Hold it for just 3 to 5 seconds with one person, then another. It builds connection. Second, stand tall. Feet about shoulder width apart, shoulders back. That's your power stance right there. Third, use those open gestures we talked about. They make you seem honest and inclusive. And a great pro tip, move with a purpose. When you're ready to move to a new topic, physically take a step. It's a great visual cue for your audience.
Whew. Okay. We have covered a lot of ground here, right? From the sins to avoid to the 3 pillars of message, voice, and presence. But look, none of this matters if you don't actually do something with it. So let's talk about the one simple thing you can do to get started.
Think about it. An athlete would never compete without warming up, right? So why should a speaker? Warming up your voice is a game changer. And this isn't just for people giving TED Talks. Doing this for 60 seconds before a big call or a meeting can make you feel so much more ready. Come on, you can even try these right now. First, just lift your arms up, take a deep breath, and let out a big sigh. Then, warm up your lips, go ba 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 ba, and then do a big lip trill like brrrr. Warm up your tongue with an exaggerated la la la. And finally, my favorite, the siren. Go from a high wee all the way down to a low ah. It feels silly, but it gets your instrument ready to go.
You know, all these little tips and tricks, they lead to something much bigger. This quote from Julian Treasure really hits it home. It's not just about nailing your next presentation. It's about imagining a world where we're all speaking powerfully, and just as important, listening consciously. A world where, as he says, understanding would be the norm. I mean, wow, that is a really powerful idea. So, to wrap this all up, I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. Now that you have these tools, you know how to sharpen your message, master your voice, and command your presence. What is it that you need to say? What's that important thing you want to share? And how are you going to say it to make sure your voice is finally, truly heard?